Hello and welcome to Real Talk with Stacie René. I'm so glad that you could be here to listen to us today, get some education, and I would love to introduce Mark from Media Hero. Welcome, Mark.
Hey, Stacie, how you doing today?
I'm fantastic. Lots of things going on out there in the world, and finding some great coping mechanisms and things that you can provide to us. I think it's really going to be informational and helpful to everybody out there. But before we get started, if everyone who is watching this, if you're just coming in, please make sure that you like and also leave some comments. That would be helpful that we can reach out to you, provide information back. If you love the information that we're providing, then let us know. I mean, that's what's going to make us better, right? Right, Mark?
That's right.
Okay, so Mark from Media Hero, I would love if you give us an overview of what you do.
Well, Media Hero is a content provider, and what that means is I give and make either video or still photographic content that can be used for any type of marketing needs or an individual's needs. So I will, a client will come to me, whether it's an individual, a small business, a corporation, or a brand, and what I do is I deliver agency level content at prices that work within their budgets.
Very nice. And as we know, budgets are definitely constrained for a lot of us, and that's nice that you can be able to work with all of them.
Well, and it's the interesting part of what I do is because I run into so many different people at different levels of wherever their organization or whatever they provide, is that I learn a lot about different things that I would never have learned about if I hadn't had this vocation. And I think that is just another level of me that makes it really interesting. And I am genuinely interested in learning about people and telling their story.
That is phenomenal. Now, I will have to brag a little bit about you. I have worked with you in the past, and you shot a phenomenal promo ad for a corporation, Catalyst XL, who does mobile apps. And I have to tell you, the way that you put everything together, I clearly couldn't visualize it, but the way that your brain worked and you have the expertise, we got a lot of views and a lot of people who reached out, from what I understand, from that video that you put together. It was phenomenal.
Well, you know, we had a really tight timeline on having to put that together. And Mark Russell, who was the person who is part of the Catalyst team that reached out to me. He and I have done a lot of work before together in the past. And he expressed to me that we need to do this and it needs to be produced by next Friday. And this was, I think, the previous Wednesday night. And I think that's when after I got off the conversation with Mark, I reached out to you immediately because we needed someone that needed to be the hero of the story, so to speak.
Well, I appreciate that reach out. And, you know, and I think in today's society and what we deal with is we want now, right? And I think that that's just a catalyst for what you can do. I mean, for you to be able to put that promo ad together so fast and make it happen really is a testament of your expertise, your professionalism, and that you can turn it around in that last minute need.
Well, and part of it is also is that the people that you surround with you on those moments is that you need to trust the professionals. Sure. And while we surrounded ourselves with the people that we knew that could work under a deadline situation and excel in that department as well, and also have some fun in the process, because this is a very fun business, and there's no question about it. And though it can be taxing and hard work and maybe sometimes frustrating, ultimately it's very enjoyable. And look who I got to work with. I got to work with you and my friend Mike Lowe's and Mark Russell. And
I have this perma grin on my face because we did have a lot of laughs. It's just like, the memories are great, and it was a lot of fun.
And we had a great location too, right? I mean, that was beautiful.
We did.
You know, it just kind of fell on our laps.
Yes, it did. So well done. So outside of your Media Hero for this, I also understand that you work with OCC. Would you mind telling us what you do, how you provide the services? Which is OCC is Oakland Community College.
Yes, I am an adjunct professor at OCC, and I have been since around 2000 or so. And what I uh, instruct is either a beginning digital photography class or a traditional black and white and darkroom class. And
Mm-hmm.
while as this COVID-19 breakout occurred, like for everyone else, OCC had to stop having face-to-face instruction. And we had to come up with a solution. And when I say we, because I'm an adjunct, I'm working hand in hand with the chair of the department that I'm working in the photography department. And he and he knows that I have a lot of media experience and
Mm-hmm.
working with multiple levels of media. And we had to come up with a solution to reach students, not only the digital class, but the black and white darkroom class where they were not able to use the darkroom because we
Right.
had to shut that down, you know. So we came up with a plan. Now I'm going to share my screen right now because I think this is really interesting on relative to what we had to do. What we ended up doing is, let me get to where it is. Okay, here it is. Uh, we used Flickr as a way for students to both join and upload all of their images and
Oh,
then
very
have
cool. Look at
and then
that.
and then have a way. Now this is all the students' work that's right here, and this is
Mm-hmm.
just the first week of the students uploading images. And we had to get them comfortable and working with it because many of them, though they are savvy in the social media world, Flickr is not the choice typically of the age group that we're instructing. Or
Right. Those are
some,
some great photos. And you know, the limit two, you know, did we ever think in today's society that we would actually see the limit two waters on anything?
oh well, I know,
I
right?
mean, shocker.
Well, and this is what we're trying to have them communicate is what their personal human experience is. And the really fun thing about it is that we are using Zoom, and me and Nick Valenti, the chair of the department, are on everyday communication on how can we best either serve the students or make sure they stick to what the idea of what this project happens to
Mm-hmm.
be. So if I go to a student, and I hope okay, this student right here, and I'm able to come and see their student work and go to their photo stream, and they are commenting on their own work. And let me see, I want to go to their in particular photo stream, and we're facilitating also a way for them to write about themselves. So this person hasn't written a narrative right now, but there is a way. Let me see if I can find someone who has a narrative.
No, this is all through OCC and you providing this type of resource for them to be able to continue their education and continue their classes, correct?
That's correct. Yeah, and that's really what it's in the spirit of doing is making sure that we provide something that wasn't over stretching,
Mm-hmm.
but still providing a way that they have content to talk about it. And give me a couple seconds, and we can
Sure.
edit this part out right here. I'll find. We had a Zoom yesterday with a lot of students, and we were talking about this about page. And we want them to make sure when they're writing something, they don't put in, I am a student, that kind of a thing. We want them to get right to the story. We really want it to be like it's a newspaper article or it's a documentary, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's the
I
thing
saw
that
the
we're
puppy and it made me smile.
just we spoke with here.
Aw.
Okay, so here, though, this is really nice. This still may need to be developed a little bit more. And the nice thing about social media is that you are able to change as you go relative to the 3 remaining weeks. We want them to create 10 images ultimately, and then write about what those 10 images are.
Okay. So if you're not in the OCC program, is there, I mean, you could utilize this in other ways businesses could, correct?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
So how, outside of the OCC, how could businesses use this for the structure of their company or for their employees, or how could we deploy this? Just to give them some ideas.
Well, I think like any social media, it gives a little bit of a forum on being able to talk about themselves, on who
Mm-hmm.
they are, providing some content on what they have as however they want to communicate. Whether this is something that talks about their culture, for example, you know, where it doesn't have to be heavy hitting sales, but it's just a matter of like, this is who we are, and this is how we act within our own walls, so to speak. And here's the person that may be the CEO, and giving a little bit more of a warm and fuzzy, so you have an idea that there's actually a culture with inside the four walls of whatever that company, agency may happen to be. And not only that, but it opens the door if like other people who are participating want to upload images, that they're able to provide some of the content, where it doesn't have to be just one person, but many people can upload and talk about the culture of their agency. And you're able then share it into groups and generate some type of, like any other part of social media, hashtagging and tags and searchable on web. So you're populating the web with your brand name a little bit more. It becomes more recognizable because you keep on populating it with that brand name. And I think that becomes a point of value too, when you're looking for a little bit more attraction in SEO. You know, search engine optimization. The more that you have your name out there, the more you are going to be recognized in search engines. Right.
So do you have something else that you wanted to show us, or you want to bring us back up?
I am going to bring us back up. That's it for OCC. So that's kind of the OCC thing. And that was an interesting challenge because we had to ramp up really, really quick and make that all happen.
Right. And well, maybe that'll give other businesses some ideas of what they could, you know, cultivate in their culture right now that they need for their business, that could help extend out or provide services to, you know, other businesses to keep things going. And, you know, and if you were jumping right to it, which is great that you guys found that outlet for the students. Very creative.
Well, and it's interesting because it just happened to be a conversation that we were having in a Zoom meeting. And you know, at the end of it, we're just kind of like, okay, we're just about ready to hang up, and we're wondering what we need to define it. And I just kind of said, well, I'm off to doing and documenting what I need to, what's happening in my own quarantine time, you know?
Right. Totally understandable.
Said, That's it. That's exactly what we're going to do.
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to have students communicate their human condition and during this quarantine. And then we developed it.
Right. Well, well done. So hopefully between the OCC, you know, businesses can also use that as a resource. I think that's a new idea for them, which right now that's what we have to provide to everybody is, you know, nobody planned for this, and it's kind of a shock to all of us. And we've got to do the best that we can. So going back to your media hero.
Yes.
What kind of services or what could you provide during the COVID outbreak or epidemic that we're experiencing?
Well, I think one of the most topical things, because the Zoom now has actually been just blowing up for everybody. Everyone that I talk to is now in a Zoom meeting, whether they've ever used it before in the past or not. It's
all new to me.
It's part of their reality. And I am able to facilitate on a back end process of being able to record the meeting and then maybe put some B-roll relative to whatever that discussion may happen to be, and provide a video copy of what that meeting is. So if some people may not have been able to be part of the meeting, now they have something that they can react to, and it can be sent out to everybody. And it doesn't have to be the whole content of what was being discussed, but the highlights of it. And working with whomever was the facilitator of that meeting to make sure that I find those highlights and I create an edit that's meaningful. And that doesn't need to be remote. And the content that is the back-end content is content that's already available because they have it either in their library, or maybe it's something that I can create too. Maybe it's a background that they want to have. Like for me, for example, during this, I created a movie that's slowly changing images. And the one thing I wanted to make sure was, well, I wanted to brand myself. So I have a step and repeat that becomes one of the images that's on the background right now. That may be something that's very helpful too when it comes to being, while we're still professionals, we still want to present ourselves as professionals. And we have some basic items here in Zoom to help it feel more professional. And so I would love to be able to provide that level of service for someone to communicate. I don't have to participate, but I can record the meeting, take that off of their plate, and then give them an edit.
That is great, especially with how we need to kind of find alternative methods to communication and keep in the social distancing, but keep socially interacting with everybody so we don't go too crazy, because I think that we're really starting to feel that now, being so far into this. So I really appreciate all the info and insight that you've been able to provide to us. Is there anything else that you want to add?
I think that's about all I was prepared to talk about, to tell you the truth. I can go off and ramble, but I don't think that's really going to be appropriate.
That's okay. I know. I'm a talker myself. Well, I really appreciate all of your time. And again, if you have any questions for Mark, please comment below. We will reach out or private message you to be able to respond. But I'm sure if you're putting the question out there, other people have the same question, and we can provide the answer. Okay, he can. Maybe not so much for me, but I really appreciate it. And Mark, if they want to get a hold of you, where would they go? Can you give your website name, your phone number? What would your best preference?
Yeah, the best way to find me is go to MediaHero.com, and I have a contact page that has all of my contact information. There's a portal where you can send me a note that comes right to my home inbox, and then I'd be happy to communicate and start a conversation and then see how we can build a professional relationship and help you out.
Fantastic. I'm really glad. Thank you so much. And again, if you just joined us, I appreciate your time, whether you're listening to this in the morning, afternoon, night. If you can't sleep, you're in the middle of the night. Hopefully this helps you and educates you a little bit more. I'm Stacie René with Real Talk, and you can't lead a positive life with a negative mind. And until then, don't coast to neutral. Positive shift ahead.